welcome in everybody to the High Low Sports Podcast, the one sports podcast on the entire internet that doesn't have a variety of different scandals or frauds hiding behind it, and you can check all the paperwork to verify that. It is DJ, joined as always by my co-host Kelcey, as we are less than just a few hours away from the end of 2025. College football playoff semifinals are currently underway, just over 15 minutes in, and it's time we start talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the my goodness, how did this happen in 2025 in the sports world, as we are here for the year-end Sports Review Awards from the High Low Sports Podcast. This is always a fun episode that we do each year, and I'm curious to see where you're going to go with this one, because normally you break the rules. I'm curious if you're going to do it today, if you're going to end the year on a positive note.
There might be a rule-breaking pick in one of these. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. It's one of those, I just lugged through 8 inches of snow to get here, so who knows what I'm going to do. I might just pull a snowball out of nowhere and here we go downhill. But yeah, no, we'll see. I got something on my sleeve. That's for sure.
There's never any doubt about that. But without further ado, let's go and get into it. We're going to start with our very, very first award. We're going to come out with a bang. We're going to start with our Male Athlete of the Year for 2025. Kelcey, do us the honor, since you trudged through all the snow to get here. Who is your Male Athlete of 2025?
Yeah, I don't think this is a surprise to anybody who's been watching sports this year. He goes by Shohei Ohtani. Surprising nobody. I think this is back-to-back years I've picked him as my top male athlete. Same thing, still just as dominant, if not more so this year than ever before. Leads the Dodgers to a title. World Series win is not easy to do. Back-to-backs, really not easy to do. And when you're the superstar on the team both years, and one of those years you couldn't pitch, yeah, I'm going to give you credit. So here you go. Shohei Ohtani, who did pitch, by the way, this year, is my male athlete of the year.
Absolutely. And pitched in a World Series game, nonetheless, too. He did everything he needed to, for sure. I'm going to take a different approach to this one. We're going to have fun with this one. We're going to go with Jeremiah Smith, the receiver for Ohio State. A Blitnikoff Award finalist, Heisman finalist, 1,000+ yards, 11 touchdowns. Plus, let's not forget, he did have 3 playoff games in 2025 as well, where he accounted for over 250 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns in postseason action, including a national championship performance. So when I looked across the landscape, best offensive player in college football, basically from pillar to post, multiple across the board in the awards, didn't just across the board in them, put a ring on it as well, is playing at the exact moment this is being recorded, so this could age very, very ungracefully to end the year. But from pillar to post, we're going to go with Jeremiah Smith, and more or less punched himself to be a multi-millionaire in exactly 1 year and a handful of months, and would be right now if he was eligible.
Yeah, I mean, 15 months away from being a very, very rich man at the age of 21. So if 21,
already a very rich man, but even a richer man on top of it.
He might actually take a pay cut to go be a very rich man in 10 years.
Exactly. So we're going with Jeremiah Smith for our top male athlete. For me and for Kelcey, we are going to have Shohei Ohtani. Did we say generational players? They'd like to throw that word around pretty regularly, so it takes a little steam off of it. But these times it might be okay. But we're now, where there's a top male athlete, we're going to talk about the top female athlete. And this one, the pick was unanimous from the board. The board agreed across the way. We're going with A'ja Wilson, Las Vegas Aces, MVP, WNBA Finals champion, WNBA Finals MVP, four-time MVP. A'ja Wilson's pretty straightforward. I mean, 25 and 12 averages or something ridiculous like that. This one, the board agreed unanimously on this one.
Yeah, there was no question in my mind. I think this, again, is the second year in a row where I picked A'ja Wilson as the top female athlete. I honestly, until she doesn't win an MVP, I'm probably going to continue to pick her to be the top female athlete. Obviously, Olympics are next year, though, so maybe not. So we'll see. And then the Women's World Cup is the year after, so again, maybe not. But until further notice, she's on top of my board. I know Serena Williams was one of my picks 1 year. And it's pretty much gone from Serena to A'ja Wilson. So that tells you how high I hold her game. It's pretty high up there. So, yeah. Also, she's not getting beat by men in some hocus-pocus tennis match like the number 1 women's tennis player in the world that's not named Serena Williams. So, A'ja Wilson easily takes the top female athlete.
Good luck to everyone in the WNBA that's going to have to deal with her, since she did basically leak that her and Bam Adebayo do practice sometimes in their free time together. So good luck if she's dealing with Bam Adebayo on a regular basis. Good luck to everyone else that's going to have to deal with that. So good luck.
Can we just say that if they end up getting married, having kids together, Yeah. That baby, that child, whatever male, female, whatever sport it goes and plays, good luck league, whatever you are, because that will be a better player than dad for sure, and probably a better player than mom, just given the sheer genetics and how that works out. So, superpower, superhero basketball family there.
Imagine if they have one of each. So then they just take over both leagues simultaneously if it's like twins at the same time. Some Luke and Leia
Here's my
stuff where they just
question:
take over.
does Bam take her last name, or does she take his last name? Because I really hope Bam just takes her last name.
I hope they hyphenate just because just because it'd be so it's like Adebayo doesn't go with anything. So it's like Adebayo Wilson. Like it doesn't roll off the tongue fully, but it's fun.
Yeah, like Julie Ertz's husband. I obviously don't reference his first name very often. I would definitely do that to Bam Adebayo as well. It would definitely be Asia Wilson's husband.
To be fair to Zach Ertz, his knee was just ripped in half for no reason not that long ago. So he can get his first name for now. It's the end of the year. We're feeling holly jolly at this point.
He was too long an Eagle. Sorry.
And a Commander too. I mean, yeah, that's fair, I guess. As a recovering Cowboys fan, that's fair. I get it. So
yeah.
Next up, moving down the list, speaking of teams, the most coveted award, arguably, of each year, the Best Team Award from the High Low Sports Podcast. Who was the best team for you, Kelcey, for the year of 2025?
Yeah, we debated this one before we came on air. And by debated, I mean I didn't know which one I wanted to pick. And like you with the best male athlete, I might also be aging like very terrible wine here because I'm picking Ohio State. You win a natty. You finally beat Michigan. And you're back. Your quarterback was in the Heisman candidacy. You have the best receiver who should have been in the Heisman top 4. And now you potentially have a chance at another playoff run into a national championship in 2026. So yeah, I'm going to pick you as the top team in the world. Yeah, we'll go with that. Ohio State, at least in American world, that's for sure. I honestly, I didn't feel like digging through the soccer teams to try to figure out which one was better. So we'll leave that alone. But I think just for me, I'm going to pick Ohio State right now. Ohio State football. Let me be very specific. Ohio State football.
They got some work to do right now if they want to end the year in the same spot they were at the start of the year. They got some work to do. But what they've done this year, 3 big playoff wins, natty, as you mentioned, 1 loss by 3 points to Indiana. They've definitely earned the spot. For me, in a very similar vein, I'm going to go with the Oklahoma City Thunder, who have started this year on a record pace. And if you deleted the Spurs from existence, they would be on a historic pace still if it wasn't for a 12-day stretch of pure Spursness. But we're going to go with the Oklahoma City Thunder in the same way. Won the NBA Finals, SGA winning MVP, Finals MVP. As a team, they obliterated most of their competition, minus the Pacers and the Nuggets. But you saw what they did to the Grizzlies, where they're up by 55.5. We saw what they're doing in the regular season. They are a blitzkrieg across the way. They've absolutely destroying teams. So we're going to go with the Thunder because it hasn't been close. And in the NBA, that's where it's even on a night-to-night basis, because you can catch like so many games, the star players, lackadaisical, the ball just doesn't go through the rim. Someone puts saran wrap on the top of the hoop so the three-pointers aren't falling while the other team is shooting at a 75% clip. No, OKC is just like 13 Wolverines on defense, and then they get easy fast break buckets so the shots aren't falling, so it doesn't matter. SGA is guaranteed 17 fouls a game on top of it. Lou Dort's going to play football out there, so it's just if you can sell getting fouled enough. Otherwise, he is going to Derrick Henry you the entire day. And so, you know what? We're going to go with OKC. They win an asinine amount of games and have a ring to it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, forget the foul merchant conversation. It's done and over with now. You win a title. You can do whatever you want if you win a title at the end of the day. That's how I feel about it. Obviously, not whatever you want, but on the court, let's not get carried away here, guys.
So let's not get overboard. Just purely, that's how you end up with Draymond Green now.
Yeah, just purely talking on the court and not intentionally kicking anybody else. Those are the two regulations to that rule, I guess. But yeah, I definitely agree. OKC, definitely a very, very good team.
Just no assaulting your teammates or other players in the league. That's
plus they're all young. They're grown through the draft or through really early trades. It's not like SGA was like a god when he got traded to OKC. He was a 7th man, 8th man on the bench from the Clippers.
Talented guy they wanted to keep, but he didn't have this on the horizon necessarily. You know what? The Clippers have their own issues to deal with after that trade too that they've been working through. But that's a whole nother issue for 2025. So we're going to go with OKC and Ohio State, who really has to get their stuff in gear right now because they are definitely letting you down at this point. But we're now going to move on to best championship performance. So in a championship winning effort, Kelcey, who's taking the gold home for you?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna betray my fandom yet again, and I'm going with the LA Dodgers.
Nice.
Yeah, I know 2 Dodgers in this. You know what, Shohei, I'm gonna give him a grace. Maybe I'm not gonna claim he's a full Dodger. But yeah, like, it's hard to say that when you go back to back, you're not a well deserving championship performance. And then the way they went back to back, going in 7 games in Toronto, winning literally in the fashion they won in, which was insane. Yamamoto's game 7 was in just something for the storybooks. So yeah, Dodgers to me, that's one of the best championship performances we experienced all year.
Absolutely. They were sensational. That I think them being down and looking like they're going to lose to the Blue Jays on top of it made it that much better when they made that comeback to win. Multiple comebacks in that series. They could have been dead to rights multiple times and still found a way. I think that adds almost a little bit of extra spice to it, as opposed to if they just blitz through the entire championship performance and won in 4 games. I think that adds a little bit of something to it, a little bit of adversity over the top. And Blue Jays were no joke. They technically had a better regular season record, so it's not like they went through a scrub either. But for best championship performance, I'm going to head to the Octagon. We're going to talk fisticuffs. We're going to go with an individual. We're going to go with Ilya Topuria at UFC 317, capturing his second belt at lightweight. It's very rare you are going to see me put a championship performance from UFC in here that lasted about 100 seconds, give or take. But what he did in that 100 seconds was so absolutely dominant. He won on the feet. He stuffed takedowns on the ground against the most dangerous submission guy in UFC history statistically. He survived, got up, controlled the ground game. And as soon as they engaged on the feet, he does what he always does. He lands his nuclear bomb of a right hand. A guy who's never been finished like that. He absolutely starches him, sends him limp to the ground, wins his second title, 17-0. Continued on a 3-fight streak of KOs over legends, and that one was the icing on the cake. Going up a weight class to do and punching his ticket that way with arguably his best performance of his very illustrious career that involves multiple Hall of Famers sent to the Shadow Realm. With that one might being the most devastating of them all. So we're gonna go Ilya Topuria at UFC 317. Best championship performance, which maybe he will try and surpass. Hopefully we get to see him at some point in 2026. So now we're gonna go to a very not clear award. That's how I'm going to describe it. It's the most inspiring / interesting / cool. Just a moment in sports that was like, that would basically had you say, you know what, heck yeah. So Kelcey, for you, what was your most inspiring heck yeah moment of sports?
Yeah, I'm gonna say one name, and I feel like it's gonna cover everything. The Big Dumper, I think,
So
is my most inspiring moment for 2025. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Cal Raleigh, catcher for the Seattle Mariners, 60 home runs. My actual joke in here was the Big Dumper dumped 60, but I feel like maybe that wasn't necessarily appropriate. But here we are. We already said it, so we're going with it. But yeah, Cal Raleigh, look, we don't see a catcher often perform well offensively. It's not a big tradition anymore. Last great really hitting catcher was Joe Mauer. Before that, it was Mike Piazza. Before that, I don't know. Johnny
Posey
Bench.
for a few minutes before his legs
Yeah,
snapped in
yeah.
half.
Yeah, but they were never like outlandish performers. They never put up 60 home runs, or they were never number one in RBIs. They were never number one in, well, batting average was Joe Mauer. But,
The
you know,
MVP.
yeah, Cal Raleigh is like, that dude was on another level this year. So to catch every day like he did and still hit 60 was, or well, almost every day, and hit 60. And again, in this day and age where players are babied more than anybody else in the MLB history. Yeah, I think this was an incredible story. So for me, this is my inspiring story because I know how much it sucked to catch, even just like a 6-inning game, let alone a 9-inning game or double headers or back to backs. Forget that. I'm good. There's no way my knees could even try that. So yeah, definitely impressive. And then to go hit 60, that's, yeah, for sure. Cal Raleigh.
To hit 60 while sitting in that stance with a name like Big Dumper means your legs are holding up that dumper the whole time. That alone is an inspiration across
I
the
guess
board.
it's extra padding, right? I guess that's the, you don't have to worry about those ugly knee savers that don't actually do anything. Like it's actually somehow maybe more ergonomical to just be sitting on your big dumper.
Either way, you're basically doing a very converted wall sit with that much girth trying to pull you down from gravity. Good on you, Cal Raleigh. Not a whole lot of humans are capable of that for that long, for sure. And then being able to hit on the other side, which, as you know, home run strength starts with the legs. You can't.
Yeah.
So he clearly never had dead legs. So I want to see him do those strongman competitions where they strap a rope over and he just uses his legs to pull a semi with him with like 13 logs on the back of it, just casually, not even thinking about it whatsoever.
That'd be fun.
Maybe not during the season though. Maybe during the
No.
off season. Like, I don't. We don't need to risk the
That could be-
run for 65.
They used to have this spring training thing they did where they used to have like fun competition during spring training with superstars. Yeah, I think that would be one. Like you can just have fun competition like that. A bunting competition. Can we bring back bunting in the league? That'd be great.
With Cal Raleigh bunting, he might still end up in the outfield nonetheless. It'll still get a tap and it'll get a little extra steam on it. But
those torpedo bats, you never know how far it's gonna go, right?
you know what those torpedo bats did? They inspired me to go to what I have for our most inspiring moment. We're gonna go to the ice, somewhere we don't spend a whole lot of time. But Alexander Ovechkin breaking Wayne Gretzky's 894 goals record and being the first to score 900. There's very few guys in all sports that are widely considered quote unquote the GOAT. If that makes sense in their sport. Very few guys that kind of reached that. Wayne Gretzky has been mostly one of them. I don't think there's a whole lot of argument in hockey who would be the GOAT of hockey at this point. To see him pass up such a legendary record, and Ovechkin's been around for 2 decades now, give or take, like the epitome of longevity. And basically, he's been good through several generations. He's been awesome. And to see him break this record and be the first to 900, it's the moment that stands out that even if as we don't spend a whole lot of time on the ice, like I said, it's something that stands out as well. As you mentioned, it means a lot to a lot of people across different sports and across different fandoms.
Yeah. I have a funny story about this. I was at a legislative conference earlier this year, and we all have to dress up, suits, ties, the whole shebang. There were several individuals, and by the way, this isn't DC that we're in. And throughout this conference, the amount of people that were wearing Ovechkin jerseys on top of their suits, it is astronomical. That's all they talked about. Every day there would be a guy that walked by our booth and he'd check in. He's like, hey, where are we at so far? Every day, just to see how close Ovechkin would get. He didn't get it when we were there for the conference, but it was shortly after that, which I find hilarious that like here we are, a very important legislative conference, and everybody's more focused on Alex Ovechkin scoring 895 more so than we are on the legislative conference. So yeah, very fun situation there.
Absolutely. You know what? I don't know how much time he has left. Maybe he goes for 1,000. Good luck anybody else getting that. That might take a few years, though. I don't know if he's got that in him, but if he does, that might be on this award list again in a few years. We'll definitely wait and see. But now what you could say is arguably the most coveted or least coveted award of the High-Low Sports 2025 awards, the Goofy Goober Award for the most embarrassing thing in sports, the most just the WTF award, if you will. There's a lot of different ways, but the Goofy Goober Award is the best name we could think of for it. Kelcey, who is Kelcey's Goofy Goober of 2025?
Yeah. So this is my pulling my ace out of my sleeve moment here. I'm going to go with me. I'm the Goofy Goober for 2025 because on June 9th, I think it was June 9th. Honestly, I forgot. But before, like 5 minutes before we come to record an episode, I do the least athletic thing I've ever done in my life and tumble down those stairs, ending with a concussion and stitches. So yeah, easily the most embarrassing moment of 2025 is me falling down the stairs of my own house prior to a recording session and not being able to go to the recording session because of that. So that's my fun Goofy Goober. I do have a legitimate Goofy Goober, but I'll save that for after you go. But yeah, that's my my fun Goofy Goober for the year. So it's me. I get the Goofy Goober award this year.
Not gonna lie, I don't really have much to follow up with that one. There is not a better option in this entire playbook. So we're gonna go with the runner-up for that award for me. We're gonna go with sports gambling scandals across the way because my goodness, why do people that make millions have to be stupid? You got the Terry Rozier situation in the NBA, the Chauncey Billups alongside it. You had the multiple UFC scandals, which my goodness, like what are we doing here? You like the way those odds are, you're not going to get away with that, especially when you go when you are the underdog or when you're the favorite and then everyone bets on your opponent. It's like, no, we know what's coming. And the method to losing that happens in 90 seconds. Like we have it in college football and college basketball. I think pretty much every sport has had some. We had MLB, my goodness. There's been betting scandals across all sports in a very short amount of time. It seems very clear and obvious, but everyone involved in those are the goofiest of goobers, and there's some other words that are not goofy or goober that are much worse to describe it. But they took a tumble in their own right, and it really set back what should have been a very fun hobby for sports fans across the world, which was already volatile, similar to fantasy football and the ability to send people messages. But that took sports betting back like 1,000 years. So we're gonna say everyone involved with those are the goofiest of goobers.
Yeah, that is literally the one thing that every politician in the world before it was approved said, this is what can't happen. Well, here we are. It's what happened because there's idiots who make millions that aren't happy enough making, I don't know, 750 times the average salary of a normal human being. Like they're just not okay with that. Come on, guys. What, that extra $10,000, $20,000 you're going to get from, pulling numbers, pulling a jab, pulling a shot is going to help you? No, like stop. Sports betting is the dumbest situation when it comes to people using it wrong. Like, just bet what you can. Don't get crazy with it. Yeah. If you do have a problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER though.
There needs to be an IQ test for you to be able to use a sports betting app. That's what we need. Like, there needs to be a sports bet. There needs to be an IQ test.
There's a few things we need an IQ test before people can start doing. Driving being one of them.
A few things. I think we need another episode just for things you need an IQ test for.
Maybe Hilo Sports Extra is going to get some free content here in the new year.
3-hour list incoming.
That's true. Also, one of those things you could use.
Comments, and one of them is buying podcast equipment. So guess what? We passed that one, guys. Thank you for asking, though.
Yeah, I'll beat every IQ test. Sorry, guys, even with a dumb brain. But I will say this. There is one more thing you need an IQ test for. It is officiating, which is my legitimate goofy goober of the year. Officiating. Just stop being idiots. Don't make it any more egregious that there's already a script. Like, we don't need to believe there's a script anymore because at this point in time, it's a running joke that I'm not sure is fake anymore.
The cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, like, come on, guys. It was bad enough when it was Chris Paul versus the referees, and now it is the entire world versus referees because you just have to get involved. You have a yellow flag. It doesn't mean you need to draw attention to yourself. You can leave it in your pocket. It's okay. You're already covered in stripes. We'll see you. So it's not like you're wearing, camo and we can only see half your head. You're not John Cena, dang it. So, yeah, officiating. Definitely the goofy goober for 2025.
It's a very, very strong list for Goofy Goober. I think officials probably take the cake. They can also go on the list just about every year because, unfortunately, the year of the ref was supposed to end about 4 years ago when the term was coined, but unfortunately, it is still going strong and in abundance. The TV time never ceases to amaze.
We still need to put out that merch. We've been saying it for 5 years now. I think we actually finally need to put out the merch.
It might be time. A year of the ref hats, and then just keep crossing off the year and adding to it. But at that point, it's
gonna look like a Browns jersey by the end of it.
It might be longer than Browns jersey is, right?
Anybody doesn't know what we're talking about. We're talking about the quarterbacks for the Browns history, just so everybody understands.
It'll be a race to see which one can get to 100 first. But a few honorable mentions for the Goofy Goober works. There were sure a lot of them. Sports fans, specifically ones in Detroit that have their own press conferences for very stupid reasons. There's plenty there. Puka Nacua, unfortunately, is a little bit on the Goofy Goober list. He's kind of canceled out with his absolute dominance on the field, which cancels out some of his tomfoolery off of it as well. So there's a couple of Goofy Goober nominations to add with it. There is the Chargers offensive line because, my goodness, that has been a very Goofy Goober alert as well. There's Jerry Jones, who is perpetually lives on this list.
Yeah, there's a whole Cowboys organization that could have gone on this list for Goofy Goober. Easily could have gone on this list. Yeah, that'd be bad.
Absolutely. Now the fun part too that I did not tell you about that as part of the show, but I'm springing on you at the last minute. Predictions for 2026. We're not going to go through all of these again. We're just going to go through a couple of them. Who is your prediction you think will be the best male athlete of 2026 when we do this again in exactly 365 days?
Well, it's the World Cup next year. So it's going to be a soccer player, and it's probably going to be a guy who hasn't made it to the World Cup yet, but who's having an incredible year for Man City, who is likely to continue that. I'm going to go with Erling Haaland, if you're American. But yeah, Icelandic striker, plays for Man City. If nobody's watched him play, you're an idiot. He is literally a walking Viking on the pitch. Probably going to be my male athlete of the year if he has a good World Cup to go with a great club season.
Absolutely. I think the World Cup could definitely have a lot of strong influence on next year's awards. Absolutely. Mine, I'm going to say it's going to very much depend on what happens in the new year, but I expect due to the new deal with the new right media deal, I expect the UFC to have a lot of very interesting matchups throughout to try and make sure that that Paramount's basically going to demand. It's like, we paid you this much money. There better be some damn bangers. I need to add a couple zeros to those viewer counts. So I could see Alex Pereira repeating after I had him do it last year as male athlete of the year if he captures his third title in a different weight class maybe gets a defense, gets a couple of knockouts. He's 1,000 years old. He's running out of time. So I could see him just going, you know what, I'm going to go on a run and just KO a few heavyweights to add another massive mantle to him. So I think that could be a very sneaky one that could add into it. Now, this is going to be a fun one. You're going to have to think long and hard. What kind of goofy goober do you think we could see in 2026? Because we're going to compare what we think now and what it actually is. We're going to see if it manages to wildly surpass or if it at least is on par.
My goofy goober for next year. Again, it's the World Cup next year. But it's not going to be anything on the pitch. It is going to be the complaints about getting from one venue to the other in the United States. Now, if anybody's never been to the United States, which most of our audience is based here in the US, so you do understand this, there is no good public transportation in most of these cities.
Or
don't even get me started to go. Yeah, he's like city to city. You're taking a plane, or you're taking Amtrak. You're taking a bus, which, let's be honest, our bus systems suck. So that's a 5-day trip just to go 6 states away. Let alone if you go, if you go from California to New York because you're following the USA and you're trying to get to the finals afterwards, like that's good luck. You're going to be traveling for a long time. When you travel halfway across the country and it says 24 hours on Google Maps, you'll understand. And that's just driving. If you're driving consistently, it doesn't count for breaks, doesn't count for anything. So my goofy goober is going to be the poor American transportation system, not allowing international soccer fans, football fans, to enjoy every single one of their team's games during the World Cup, which is a once-in-a-lifetime event for many people. Not even including ticket prices, not including performances on the field, not including referees, VAR, any of that hocus pocus. Purely just down to infrastructure is going to just ruin all of it for any international fan and probably most American fans who don't even have to travel that far because most of the games are on the West Coast. So, yeah, I'm going to go with silly, goofy goober with the American poor infrastructure when it comes to roads and highways. And
the best
public
part is
transportation.
nothing will change after that whatsoever. It will go in one way and it will come out the exact same way or a little bit worse.
We'll make legislation on it and then they just won't. So,
yeah, good luck, everybody else. Good luck. Good luck to me. Good luck to me as well. So,
and then it turns into a politics thing, and we just don't talk about politics here.
Then it gets wacky. What we're gonna do with mine is we're gonna actually zero in on a specific human for my one. I'm gonna predict Draymond Green is gonna be the goofy goober of the year next year because he's a good case for it every single year.
Yeah, I feel like you took the odds-on favorite right there.
If he wasn't the favorite, he was definitely top 2. He's already complaining about playing on Christmas Day. Basically, made a big fuss about it. We already know he does not play basketball. Steph Curry's not playing. So if Steph Curry's hurt or doesn't play, Draymond fouls out or gets ejected. We already know that's the only way he will be considered to play. He's been since 2015, really. It's basically been is the juice worth the squeeze because he's always literally sitting on the edge of chaos and stomping on nuts to being a very legit defensive player, passer, orchestrator. The juice has been worth the squeeze for the most part, considering they've been winning titles and he's been able to fit in that system until the last 670 days plus. It hasn't quite been that way to this point where he's almost a net negative a lot of times on where they are not guarding him when he shoots the ball. The joke is he is Mr. Quadruple Single. It feels like it's a matter of time before he explodes. That quote unquote anger management after punching your teammate just felt like all it did was delay the fuse. I feel like it's only a matter of time before he punches poor Pods in the afro or something along those lines. So I'm going to predict Draymond Green's going to find his way into the goofy goober award. Maybe he storms out on Christmas Day next year. He's like, I'm tired of playing on this. And all but Vontae Davis is at a halftime. So we're going to put Draymond Green we're going to take these, if not the odds on favorite, the very close plus 135 underdog. That's right there for this award next year.
I honestly can't think of anybody who has better odds across any sport. And that's like
individually, yeah.
You know what? No, okay. There's one person that I think could have equal odds with him, Jerry Jones.
Yeah, I think Jerry Jones might be have minus odds.
That's the only chance I think of any one individual has to be on the same category. I can't think of anybody else. And I'm literally digging through all sports right now, and I'm like, that's the best I'm coming up with.
It's a powder keg ready to explode at all times.
I was wrong. This is an individual though, but it's an individual organization, so we're gonna count it. The Athletics.
Oh yeah, they're always in contention. They are always in contention.
Sorry guys, but they're still playing in Sacramento.
Poor Sacramento. Poor A's. What a mess. Poor Oakland. You had everything, and now you got nothing. You went from having all three of them, and that, damn, maybe Oakland is like the last decade's Goofy Goober. So you went from having all three to now having none.
You know what's funny about that? They have one of the most entertaining independent baseball teams, most entertaining independent soccer teams. And yeah, like women's soccer is alive in Oakland. There's a lot of sports alive in Oakland that are not MLB and NFL, and they are still super fun to watch.
And they had the Warriors, who they lost just in time for the dynasty too.
Yeah, that's the Warriors. Definitely. Hey, they got to experience the dynasty though, so they didn't miss out.
Yeah, they would have been nice to have that dynasty right in your backyard, as opposed to having to go across the bay. Having to jump on the BART and go see your dynasty is not quite as much fun.
Can the BART even reach the new Chase Arena? I don't even know if the BART reaches Chase Arena now.
It gets close enough at that point.
I feel like it stops and you have to like take a bus the rest of the way.
Adding injury to injury at that point.
I know you can't take it to the new Levi Stadium.
Can't go to Santa Clara with it because they're no longer San Francisco 49ers. They're Santa Clara, just like it's the Arlington Cowboys. But we won't get into that because that's going to.
Oh, yeah. They're not ready for that conversation.
Well, we're not ready for that one at all. But this has been our 2025 year-in review for the sports awards. Plenty to talk about this year, and a lot more coming in 2026. We appreciate you all so much for joining us from this year and the last 6 of them as well. And we look forward to many more, including 2026. We have a lot of college football, NFL, and much more to talk about on our show next week. Hopefully you'll have a safe and happy New Year's, or if you're listening to afterwards, hopefully the hangover cure is coming along quickly and not too painfully. And we'll see you all again next week.